Good morning. It is Wednesday the 5th of March. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning. It's an absolutely beautiful late winter, early spring day. Temperatures are around 12 degrees. And there's been no sign of anything. Drives me absolutely insane, this canal. I really did think something was going to happen over the weekend after Friday, obviously getting the first fish of the year, but it wasn't meant to be. The conditions are just approaching almost perfect, so they've got to be waking up soon. And I'm in a bit of a dilemma. I don't know whether to stay or I don't know whether to go. So yeah, I'm not sure what to do, to be honest with you. I'm having a bit of a mind battle today. I feel like I've done my stay here. Starting to get itchy feet. But can't help thinking that the majority of the fish are still, maybe permanently, in the marina. And some of them have got to be moving soon. So I'm torn. I don't know whether to stay where I am, wait it out, have a real good go at them, probably stick a bit of bait in, overstay my welcome maybe, and then get straight off up to the rougher arm, probably end of March. Or I don't know whether to get on my toes and start moving on. Not sure, I don't know what to do. Hoping I might get some comments suggesting what you would do. What do you think? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer that they're going to be, some of them are going to be moving out of that marina sometime soon. The temperatures are starting to climb. The wind's still a little bit chilly, but spring's definitely here, I would say, now. Fingers crossed. I've known it to go cold in March before, and April and May. So you just never know. But the fish have got to be more active than they have been right now, which fills me with confidence. As you'll see from previous videos, I fished various different areas on the sort of lead up to here. I was hoping to sort of pick one up along the way, but that didn't work either. Don't know what to do. Feeling a little bit deflated because I thought I might have had one, but I haven't. So anyway, there we go. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do. Don't know whether to spend another couple of weeks where I am, keep doing what I'm doing, hoping they'll turn up, or do I up sticks, pick the next spot and move on. And that's what I can't make my mind up today. For anyone that's watching or following, any carp anglers out there, you are in my position right now, what would you do? Would you see it out? Never know what might happen. Might get a few, might get a flurry of fish as they maybe exit the marina. Or would you move on? So yeah, I'm in a bit of a quandary. Don't quite know what to do. Getting a bit fed up where I am. Don't particularly like fishing in the popular areas. Like the peace and the quiet. Like trying to hunt them out. But have to assume that at this time of year, the chances are higher where I am. I don't know. What you think? Let me know in the comments. And wish me luck for the rest of the week. Tight lines. No rig will avoid the bream. That's what I've learned in my experience. But I've found this particular rig really effective in making them hard to take the bait. It's called a bollocks rig for obvious reasons, as you'll see shortly. It's dead easy to tie. What you'll need is a length of your preferred braid. I just tend to grab the first thing that's in my box, to be honest with you. This particular one is £15 Chameleon, which is a very old It's quite nice actually, because it's like a flecked coated braid of all different colours. So take a good, I don't know, 1.5 foot off, and it's just a basic knotless knot rig, but on the hair ends you want just anything basically. I tend to use a really small micro swivel, something like that. So you want this at the ends of the hair instead of a loop, effectively, is what you're doing. So again, like I said, I'm not sure there's any rig that will deter the bream, and if you've been watching previous videos, you'll notice that in some ways I've actually been wanting to know if there's bream, because one of the things I've learned in my experience of fishing on the canal is where there's bream, there's carp. I've often found that if I've caught bream, then I tend to pick a carp up. And when I was on my walk the other day and I was thinking about the next spot, and I do need to be moving on soon, and I want to move on soon because this place is just going to get busier and busier, and I need to have things to do. So I'll be moving in the next week or so, but I'm just trying to stick it out here for a little bit longer and then I'll be off. But I've decided that my next off, I'm going to follow the bream, or I'm going to try and predict where the bream are going to spawn, and I'm going to be fishing around that area for a while. Once your micro swivel has been tied onto the end of your braid, then take your preferred hook. Mine is the ever faithful Gardener Mugger. Absolutely swear by these hooks. The only hook I have in the box, really, to be honest. And it's knotless knot style, quite basic, quite crude. Don't need nothing fancy for the canal, in my opinion. Probably going to lose it quite quickly and get snagged up on something. Anyway, you want the swivel to be probably in a normal position where you would want your hair stop to be. So somewhere around the bend on the hook is fine. I don't get too particular with this, to be honest with you. And then it's standard knotless knot stuff. I tend to go around a few more than I need to be honest with you. I don't like the start of the hair to be too far up the shank of the hook. I actually prefer a few more whippings, just so you get that kick out a bit further down. The purpose of this rig, specifically this rig, is to try and deter the bream or make it really difficult for the bream to take your bait. That's the idea behind this rig. Oh, it was on one of the YouTube channels, I guess, and I thought it was a good idea, and I tried it out, and I felt like it worked quite well. I felt like those runs, like I've mentioned in previous videos, where the bobbin just goes up to the top, the bream ones, and then the bobbin just stays at the top, but you know that the fish has hooked itself, so you're reeling in. What I've noticed with this rig is that same bite tends to be a single beat, and then maybe a drop, or maybe an attempted take, and then a reset. It makes me feel that it's a bit more difficult for this particular presentation, for the bream in particular, to get in the mouths. So again, nothing special, not rocket science, pretty basic stuff. I'm just gonna get top. And with me spending a bit of time around the bream over the next month or so, I reckon I'll end up using this rig on all 3 rods eventually. So you need some stiff mono, the sorts of stuff that you might make a boom from, or the sorts of stuff. I use this as leader, but it's actually amnesia monofilament. It's 40 pounds mono effectively. So you just need a length, probably a couple of inches, and then a couple of your chosen hook baits. I've mentioned before, I've been using the DNA Secret 7 bait for about a year now, and really like it, really rate it. Definitely feel it's caught me more fish than other baits that I've used in recent years. But what we're going to do is we are going to use your baiting needle like so, and you'll probably do a better job than me, but what you want to do is and then you're going to get your lighter, just blob it up just to know for absolutely certain that that's not coming off, and then it wants to go through your micro swivel, and then the same thing happens on the other side. Now you know where the name comes from. I mean, I'm not one for following fads or the latest. I wouldn't even know how to do a Ronnie rig. I wouldn't even know how to tie a Ronnie rig. Well, maybe I would, but I've never used one. Or 360. I've never really sold. I just used the same rig all the time. But this particular one, definitely feel. So you want to take that through. There's the bollocks. Take that through. Snip off the end. Blob it down. What I remember doing last year as well, when the bream got particularly greedy, is I can remember ending up leaving a gap here, so it was sort of further spread out, and that made it even more difficult for the bream to take the bait. But there's your bollocks rig, and you can see why with that presentation. You know, it's going to take a pretty wide mouth to get that in, and again, you know, the average, I mean, there are some really big bream around here, but the average size bream is going to struggle with that. And that's where you sort of probably get the single beat, as opposed to the full take, and then bringing all your stuff in and sending it all back out again for the sake of a small bream. So this is just something that I've definitely found helped me, or felt like it made a difference to my fishing, and on the basis that I'm going to be, well, I mean, as soon as the bream become active, they then become a bit of a problem. I'll be using this rig on all 3 rods, and I recommend this particular rig if you want to do your best to avoid the bream when you're fishing for carp on the canal. Thanks for watching. One of the things I love about going on these walks every day is it gives me a chance to clear my mind, gives me a chance to think carefully about important decisions, both life, work and fishing related. So I've got a plan. I mentioned on a previous video, patterns, obsessed with patterns. So I'm always looking for relationships between things to try and establish a formula, I guess, to move on. Any of you that know me will know that I'm quite into formulas. So, but yeah, that's what I've been trying to do over the years. Spot consistent occurrences. And a few of them I've mentioned on the channel in previous videos. And I'm sure I've mentioned this one as well, but what I have noticed is when the bream are spawning, so the bream spawn earlier than the carp, and you can tell where the bream spawn. And what happens when they're spawning is the stick-ups flicker like this. It's always between the sort of beginning to mid of the spring. But anyway, I've always fancied spending a bit of time in one of those spots. And it's going to take a bit of thinking, because if there's a load of bream about, don't really want to be getting breamed out all the time. But I have got a rig that I've used specifically to avoid the bream, and it's not a rig that I'll pull out the bag really until they become a problem. So actually, to be honest, like I've mentioned, right now at these times of years in these places, I want to get the bream bites, because I want to know that the bream are there, because when I know the bream are there, the carp are there. Mentioned that before. When it comes to spawning, my theory is wherever the bream are spawning, the carp are following and eating. So my plan for the next month is to go to an area where I know the bream spawn annually, and I'm going to spend a bit of time there in between my run up to the Rufford Arm and my stay in the marina. There you go. 5 minutes ago I didn't have a clue what I was going to do, and now I'm all over it. So thanks for that.